Welcome to episode 20 of the Savage Podcast. And today we're talking about dressing for success, how your appearance influences everything that you have in dating and relationships and business and making money. Listen to this at 1.5 or 2x speed to condense your rate of learning and get through this faster. 1.5 to 2x speed. You guys can do that right there. And then stick with me to the end where I'm going to be sharing more applicable tips when it comes to this to get better results again in dating, relationships, business, finances, authority, and everything. So, a big thing about appearances is your degree of standing out and your degree of authority. People respect you when you respect yourself. This is how you groom yourself. This is your fitness and health. That's why it's important to be lean and have a good amount of muscle because that reflects discipline and healthy habits, right? And it's also how you dress, how you show up to the date, how you show up to the business deal, how you show up, right, is how you dress. And I'll tell you three different examples right now. Los Angeles, I used to live in LA. Right now, I'm in North Idaho. But we got this awesome LA background right here. But one thing, I'll tell you guys a story. When I go to these real estate networking events, I go to a lot of them in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene. I grew up in Spokane, Washington, right? And I go to these real estate networking events for real estate investing, realtors, right? If you're familiar. And they respect me differently because I'm one of the most well-dressed people there, wearing a suit. Some Spokane and Coeur d'Alene is more blue collar, right? Is more blue collar in area. So not everyone dresses clean, even though they should if they're a realtor, mortgage loan officer, and real estate investor, correct? But anyway, dressing here, but I'll tell you, it's the hat. Peacocking, right? That's what they call it in pickup. I used to be part of a demonic pickup cult, right? But within dating, peacocking, right? You can do it in many different ways, right? But some form of peacocking is a hat, but it doesn't just rely to picking up or women or that type of thing in the mating game, but it also is in business. What makes you stand out? And I'll tell you from going to all these different real estate networking events up in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene is that I'm known as the guy with the fancy hat. It makes me stand out. Not every Sometimes you can stand out with your emotions, with your charisma, with what you say, with how you talk, right? Your energy. You can stand out that way. But the easiest way, honestly, that doesn't require much energy at all is dressing something specifically that makes you stand out. Right. So a fancy hat, right, is something I do. There's other things you could do as well, but it could be a certain type of suit, right? Even it depends on the area. A suit will just make you stand out depending on the dress code, right? But dressing up, so number one, peacocking, right? Some sort of thing that's going to make you stand out. It could be like wearing a tie-dye suit or a Mickey Mouse suit, like some suit that's completely out there, right? It could be wearing a fancy hat, something that's going to make you stand out, right? That's tip number one. Tip number two, guys, is always dress up. Okay. Another story. When I went to here in Spokane again, I grew up in Spokane, Washington. I went to this Christian event, Life Surge. They have this thing called Trade Surge. I invested into these real estate, financial market, and business conferences, events, right? So this was a 3-day event in Spokane, and this is LA, but 3-day event in Spokane, Washington, about learning about day trading and the financial market, stocks, crypto, forex, all that. It's a 3-day event, and out of everyone there was 150 people there that were, the attendees, right? And then there's, the speakers are all dressed up in fancy suits and looking clean. Out of the 150 people that were at the trade market event, very few of them were actually dressed in a suit, right? They're dressed way more casual, right? But your boy was dressed in a suit, right? And then also got the peacock, the fancy hat. And I'll tell you what, I had 10 people come up to me and tell me and want to introduce themselves to me and shake my hand and tell me how nice I look, how they like the hat, that they wanted to get to know me. And out of those 10 people, about five of them were other attendees. About five of them were the actual financial market day trading coaches, right? People that are there leading the event. And they came up to me and said, "Hey, I like how you dress. I see your fancy hat. That's cool. Shake my hand." Right. And I stood out, right? I'm sure they did that with other people too that were dressed more casual, but I stood out in their mind. Right. I had them come up to me multiple times. And same thing with the five attendees. They came up to me multiple times because the peacock standing out and dressing up, right? Dressing up makes you stand out alone, right? If you dress up. So always dress up if you can versus dress down. Okay. Or even dressing, I mean, at the bare minimum, just dress whatever the standard is. If it's casual or semi-casual or semi-professional, that's the bare minimum. But if you want to get stand out, dress up. Okay. All right. And then number three, guys, I'll tell you, I've been doing online coaching now for 5 years, coach over 1,000 paying clients, generating multiple six figures, right? If you're interested in any of those programs, you can check out and learn more below. You guys are familiar with this. But I've also done a lot of different high level sales jobs, right? Because sales is one of the highest level skills you can have to make a lot of money, right? And so I've worked, door-to-door sales. I've done door-to-door for pest control, door-to-door for solar. I've also done, wholesaling and different sales jobs, over the last 7 years, right? And I'll tell you on a job interview, um, one time I dressed, they wanted you to dress professional because this is over a six-figure sales, a really high level sales position, not only commission based, but they pay you salary, right? And it's very known. You guys would be very familiar with this. Is a huge, huge company, huge personal brand, millions and millions of followers. And they do all sorts of things with sales and business and real estate. All right. And I did an interview to work for them because it's in first year 100, 150K minimum, right? And mentorship in the environment, right? So I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. Let me apply and interview. And I interviewed and I dressed in the suit, right? And I wore the fancy hat. Okay. And let me tell you, it was a quick 15-minute interview, right? And the fancy hat, the suit was like a standard, right? They wanted me to dress professionally, but the fancy hat again made me stand out. Now, you want to stand out with your charisma, with your passion, with your intelligence, with your character, with your personality, with all these other things. Definitely, you 100% want to stand out that way. But I'm telling you, your appearance is one of the least you could buy $100, $200 suit and you have it for life. You could buy a $50 dress hat and you have it for life. And it doesn't require that much energy like charisma and passion and energy and like yes, personality, character, yeah, 100%. But like this is one of the lowest amount of investment. You just got to put it on and boom, you stand out. You just got to put it on, boom, you stand out, right? So anyway, guys, this is why dressing nice will change your results in dating and relationships. Actually, it reminds me when I had my 4 year relationship, I was in a 4 year relationship. It's my longest relationship up to point. I'm not married. This is an Aura ring. It's one of the highest level technologies to track your sleep and your health. Highly recommend an Aura ring. I'm not sponsored. If you guys need help with fitness and health coaching, you already know I have a free resource below, the Savage Blueprint, that gives you everything you need. It's 100% free when it comes to leveling up your mindset, your habits, your fitness, fat loss, macros, grocery lists, meal plans, workouts. It's free. You guys can click the link below to check it out. It's free. Click the link below to check it out. Because your fitness and health is another important thing. If you have more muscle mass, you have lower body fat, people are going to respect you differently, right? In the mating game with dating, right? You're most likely, unless you have higher level of status and money and XYZ, most likely the woman or vice versa, man, as far as sexual attraction, is going to be roughly equal, maybe plus or minus one or two. Obviously, the more status or money a man has, maybe he'll be able to pull a girl that's out of his league as far as physical attractiveness because of those other factors. But typically, for most people, it's a one plus one or two ratio. So the leaner and more attractive you are as a woman or as a man, you're most likely going to attract a mate, right, at the same attractive level. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to that whole game. Um, but that's the case for most people. And when you see that differentiate of like a guy who's way out of shape, is super ugly and like whatever, and a super hot chick, you think gold digger, you think these things because it typically doesn't happen, or vice versa. A guy's super attractive, he's 6 foot, six figures, badass, right? And then you see him with a really not attractive mate. It's kind of like they're not at the same level, right? So typically physical attractive. So if you want to either male or female, if you want to attract at that level, you want to make yourself more attractive. That includes building muscle mass, that includes dropping body fat as a male and a female. So if you guys are interested in getting help with that, again, I have that free Savage Blueprint for you guys, link in the description. So what I was going to share is with my ex-girlfriend. We were together for 4 years. I met her in San Jose, the Bay, San Francisco area, and then we ended up moving to Los Angeles together. I went to Bible Institution of LA for one semester to be a pastor preacher, right? Lived in LA for the LA County, Orange County for about a year and a half. Anyway, we met at a singles party, right? And one of the reasons that she was attracted to me, that I stood out, is a lot of the people there weren't, excuse me, a lot of the people there weren't dressed looking good, right? I was in like a nice collared shirt that like made my biceps look really big. It hugged the sleeves, right? Clean shaved. I was bald at the time because I used to be a warrior fighting monk. Used to be a monk, so I'd be bald. Anyway, and one of the reasons she was super attracted to me, not only because I'm 6 foot, I'm lean, I'm ripped, right? But I'm also dressed nice, right? And so that's something that definitely can help you in relationships and dating. Even if you're married, you want to be sexy for your spouse, right? Sexy for your spouse. Because marriage, even if you're religious, if you're super Christian, you need to continue to date your wife or date your husband. You want to continue being sexy for your husband and sexy for your wife, right? So take it serious, right? Dressing and being in great physical shape is one important way to do that. All right, guys, that please like if you got value from this. Drop your in the comments your main takeaway, what you're going to take action on, and share this video. Don't be narcissistic. Don't be selfish. I know you're not selfish. I know you're not narcissistic. So please share this to your family, your friends, your coworkers, your social media, so more people can get this value. All right. Other than that, guys, click the link below for the free Savage Blueprint to help you level up your habits, your fitness and health, your mindset, and your overall life. The Savage Blueprint, it's free below. Other than that, guys, I'll see you next time on the next episode of the Savage Podcast. You all guys can check below other episodes of the Savage Podcast where we're dropping bombs every single week because average is the enemy. Average money is the enemy. Average physical appearance is the enemy. Average character is the enemy. And savage is the new standard. All right, guys. God bless you and much love. I love you. God bless you. Peace out. Let's get it.